guys, when you attend your starter session, this is what you're going to be given. So you're going to get a handbook and a monitoring diary, and you need to bring these to every session that you come to. Your handbook's got lots of resources in it. We might work out of that, well, we will work out of that on every session. It's got lots of information about maybe the easy plate, portion size, alcohol, energy balance, lots of different things in there, so it is really important to you. The other thing that you'll be given is your monitoring diary, and I'm just going to talk through how you fill this in. But just before you start with those, it might be a really good idea to start practicing writing down what you are having, and that'll include your food, your drinks, any activity you're doing. Alright, so really good to get into the habit of that. So in the monitoring diary, the first thing that you'll see is we've got a page on physical activity. Okay, so what we want you to do with that is to write down any activity that you're doing that's a little bit more than your average day. So for example, you might decide, I'm going to go for a walk because I've not done that much activity today on a Tuesday, so we want you to write it in there so we can, well, so you guys can gauge what you've been doing so far. So this is our food monitoring diary. So you'll see the first thing that's on there is the date, so you might want to record the day that it is because that might, your food intake might differ depending on the day of the week. And then you'll see that there's time. Now it's really important that we fill in the time of our meals so that we can decide what our meal routine is like. We know that having a regular meal routine is beneficial for our weight management. Having a regular meal routine can help increase our metabolism, so we need to see what times you're eating and if we need to make a change to your current meal routine. The next box that we've got is the food, so that's everything that you eat. We want you to write down absolutely everything that you have and be as specific as possible. If you had a ham sandwich, for example, we want you to write down how many pieces of bread, if you used butter or low-fat spread, how many pieces of ham, if you had anything else in there, like any salad, any mayonnaise, that kind of thing, and if you had anything with it. So we want that to be as specific as possible with the portion sizes as well. The next box that you'll see is the food groups. Now don't worry too much if at this point you're not aware of the food groups, but it's good for us to write down which food groups make up our meal so that we can see if we're having an easy plate meal. Alright, and we'll talk more about the easy plate in another video. The next thing that's in there is who you're with and where you are. Now sometimes you might eat differently depending on who you're with. So you might be at work one day, you might be eating at your desk on your own, so your food choices might be a little bit different to if the next day your work colleague was there and you went out to lunch. So it's just good to write that down so we can see if there's any trends that appear in your eating habits. The box after that is mood and thought. So sometimes we eat for emotional reasons as well as hunger. So it's really good if we can write down how we're feeling each time we eat, because there might be a link between your food choice and your emotional state. Now we're not miracle workers and we can't change your emotional state, but what we can do is to help you prepare for when you feel like that and to help you have maybe a healthier choice available with you. And then after that, the last two boxes you're going to fill in are hunger and fullness. So hunger, there's a guide on the front page that will show you. What you're going to do is you're going to fill in how hungry you are on that scale of 1 to 9 before you eat your meal. And then after that, there's a box for fullness, and what we want you to do about 20 minutes after you've eaten is fill in how full you are. And that gives us a really good gauge of your portion size. So something else that we need to monitor as well is our fluid intake. So at the bottom of this monitoring diary, you'll see that there's a space for water. So we want to write down how much water we're having each day. Hot drinks, now it's good for us to write down how many hot drinks we're having because sometimes too much caffeine can have an impact on how well we absorb nutrients. And then if we're having things like sugar and milk in there, we need to know how much of those we're having to make a difference to our weight as well. After that, we've got soft drinks, so that's things like fruit juice, cordial, all those things that might have a little bit of extra sugar in. We need to be aware of how much we're having there. And then the last one is alcohol. So we want to be aware of if we are having any alcoholic drinks, how many we're having. Now that's because alcohol is calorific very often and it doesn't offer any nutritional value. So we just want to record that and then we can make a difference there if our weight isn't changing. Alright, so the main aim of this tool is for you to be able to identify what your habits are like and for you to find out what you can change. Alright?